Okay, this is our right hand kingpin housing, and I believe with the bolts coming in the back here like it does, the bolts come that hold it into the hollow part of the square axle come through from the back to the front, and I think I can see the marks there, so that's what we're going to call it anyway. So I believe this would be on the right hand side, and what I've done off camera is I've popped the kingpin bushes in. Now, I was going to show you that, but look, all I did, we had rain in the shed and I just couldn't film or anything, and I wanted to keep the show on the road a bit. So I got the bushes and I showed pulling the bushes out, and I put a tiny little mark on one of these somewhere, and so I sanded all that down, made sure that the bore had no burrs in it at all. I got one of these little punches like I've just put the bearings in with shit all over it, and I just brought it in nice and carefully, and yeah, kept it as square as possible. And in other videos I've actually used a piece of threaded rod and pulled the bushes in one at a time. That's fine too. I just chose to do it that way on this one. Now, being Sparex bushes, you should not have to ream them. You don't normally. And we're going to put a bit of grease there, a bit of LSA LX2. Now, this isn't for bearings. It's, what's it say? Plain bearings and off-highway parts and ball joints, drive shafts and other slow-moving heavy-duty applications. So it'll bear a load of 500 kilograms. So look, all I'm going to do here, I'm going to grease this bush down the bottom here. I'm going to grease the bush up the top. And probably pinch this piece of rag. I've always got grease on my hands the last two videos, but I'll survive. It shouldn't kill me. Okay, so now we have a thrust bearing. Now, the weight of the tractor at the front sits on this thrust bearing. So you'll notice there's a tin top side and there's a hard side down here. So that's a hardened surface, and this is a softer tin. So the softer tin piece goes up, but the other thing I like to do, just because I like grease on my fingers, is I often just work a little bit of grease into that bearing, because when you're greasing this nipple here and there's load on here, it does grease the bearing a little bit, I suppose, but most of it seems to come out the top. So just to give us a good start in life, I'm just going to try and squeeze a bit of grease here in between those rollers. It's a roller thrust bearing, so that goes up in there. Now it goes up, tin side up, the hard side down. So tin side up. Now this kingpin and wheel bearing assembly we only just finished, it goes in. And like I say, with a Sparex one, you shouldn't have to ream the bushes. Look at that, straight in, no kissing. Yep. So that's nice and free, that's lovely. So I'll just tidy up the grease up here a bit. Now, up the top here, now this is the bell crank. This is the piece that the tie rod end goes to, and you'll see I've sanded this one. I started sandblasting it, and we've had that much rain here, and the air's that moist that I can't stop my sandblaster from blocking up. So I've ended up just giving it a quick sand, and there's a little lip under here that a felt goes in. So, and the idea of that felt is that it gets a bit of pressure on it here, and it stops any moisture or dirt ingress in through this top bush here. But you must put this on first because you have a keyway in the kingpin. So I'll bring that right down. Now, I'll bring the camera in closer so you can see what happens at this end. So on the end of the Kingpin here, you have a key. Then on the other side, you actually have a cutout, and the cutout is for this bolt to go into. So what we need to do here is find where Lance put the bloody key. He put it there, stop looking. And look, there's a little bit of a burr on that. I'll sneak off and tidy that up. Okay, so I've tidied the key up. Now the key needs to be a tight fit in here. Now take it till it's parallel. Sometimes I have it slightly lower at the top end just as a little bit of a lead in. Now you can see on these bell cranks, that way, that you have the shaft here and it kinks inwards. It always kinks in away from the wheel. So if I bring that down over there, I should be able to bring it right down as far as you can down here, so there's no up and down movement. So there's none there now. Now to lock that in place, we have a nut and a bolt and a washer, and that just comes through from the outside and locks up here. I'm not going to lock that up now because I need to clean it. I haven't had time to clean that yet. So that is one Kingpin assembly done. That's the right hand side. Now it's as easy as that. That's just a short little clip on pushing it in, which order things go in, things like that. So take note here. Now there's a little gap there. That's fine. If you remember, the seal was in here 5mm, so there's no worries there. So anything that tries to get up in the housing there won't be able to. The old stub axles had a little tin shield out here, but they're all welded on and you can't buy them that I'm aware of anymore. So there you go. That's just a little quickie on assembling the Kingpin into the housing. I am sorry I didn't show you doing the bushes, but I just had to keep moving. And it was just a case of bump them in gently, not burring them. But the main secret is before you start putting the bush in, make sure that the bore where it goes is nice. Oil the bush up, bump it in gently, and it'll find its own way true, and that's all I've done here. So there you go. That's just fitting a Kingpin to a Kingpin housing.